Hi, welcome to Cake That's YouTube channel. Today I've got my hands on some Harlequin hops. You may have heard of them. They seem to be quite a new hop. They're British grown, and I wanted to see what they're like. I've often read flavour descriptors for new hops which say they've got huge tropical flavours or something like that, and when I drink them it's like the flavours are very subtle and it's a bit off the mark. So I wanted to see what would happen with Harlequin. They've been described as having tropical fruit flavours with passion fruit, peach and pineapple. Now that sounds lovely. And also on their descriptions it says they're actually very flavourful and quite punchy. So this sounds great, especially if it's a UK hop. Because I think that if you're in the UK and you can buy UK grown things, then of course that saves massively on the environment. It's just, of course, if you're going for either East Coast or West Coast IPAs, then a lot of the English hops aren't really suitable for style. So let's see what it's like. So the beer that I made was probably closer to a West Coast IPA. It's a 23 litre batch and it has a malt bill of 3.5 kilos of lager malt, 250 grams of caramel and 250 grams of Caragold. I actually bittered with Magnum because I wanted to put as much of the Harlequin hops into the flavour side of the boil as possible, and so I put 20 grams in at 10 minutes, 20 grams in at 5 minutes, and the rest of the pack, which was 60 grams, in at flame out. I also fermented with Midtbust and fermented quite warm. So we've actually got a video on Midtbust, and it's a Kvike yeast, and again it's got quite tropical flavours, and I thought it would go quite well. And also, if this turns out to not be a flavourful hop, then at least Midtbust will also be adding its own character in there. So this is what it looks like. It's quite amber in colour. It might come out a bit darker on the camera than it is. The camera sometimes does that. But it's kind of amber in colour. It's quite hazy. I find Midtbust doesn't really flocculate too well, which is like fine for IPAs which are hazy. It has a head on it which slowly dissipates and it leaves some lacing on the glass. But the aroma, there are big like tangerine, big tangerine aroma, some orange flavours, a bit of citrus, but what is quite huge hitting is that tangerine aroma. The bitterness is quite sharp in this. It's got quite a citrus bitterness, so like eating a grapefruit, and grapefruit does come through, followed by some quite rich tropical flavours. I think the Midtbust and the Harlequin actually go very well together. There is a bit of maltiness, like a biscuity maltiness coming through, and there's quite a long bitter finish. That is a really decent hop. There's a link below if you want to try some yourself. I would say that it does rival some of the popular hops at the moment, like Sabro and Idaho, in terms of the tropicalness. I would say those ones are probably more punchy, but this one definitely is very flavorful. I'll probably give it like an 8 out of 10 in terms of the flavor intensity, but it is really nice, and it has its own uniqueness about it, which is different from these NEPA hops. I think it could go really well on its own. Well, I mean, this is a single hop beer, really. This does work really well as a single hop beer, and I think it would be equally nice using a clean yeast like US-05 or something like that. It's very punchy, very pungent, and it's really drinkable. It's very Moorish. There is a good complexity to this beer. So yeah, I think this would go well in all kinds of IPAs, in all kinds of pale ales, and in all kinds of hop-forward styles. It would probably mix very well with something like Columbus, which is quite resinous as well. There's a lot of experimentation that can be done. I'm really impressed with this hop. It's as I was saying, it's quite rare to find a British hop which is so American in flavour, but this has definitely hit the mark. I'm very happy with this beer and I'm very happy with this hop. For the record, this came out the keg as opposed to bottle. So I hope you found this video useful. If you have, please remember to like and subscribe, and do comment. If you have any good recipe tips for Harlequin hops, please let us know, let the rest of the community know, and if you've got any questions, do ask. And also, if you've got any tips on using this and how has it come out when you've used it, thank you.